Hey guys, welcome to today's vlog. I'm going to be going over a full day of eating, and this is a full day of eating of a mini cut. I'm going to also take you through why I'm doing a mini cut, what a mini cut is, and some important variables to consider when going through a mini cut. My first meal is incredibly simple. After I've taken Ada for a walk, I just have a couple of scoops of CMP's peptide protein, and I have basically an apple. Don't have much of an appetite in the morning, and yeah, that leads into kind of why I'm mini cutting right now. So I just want to walk you through what a mini cut actually is, just briefly at least. So it's what it sounds like, you know, a cut, but mini, so it's shorter. Generally, I like to run these for 3 up to 6 weeks. 3 weeks because after much less time than that, you're not really seeing much fat loss actually taking place. So I'm kind of like, why are you doing one of these if you don't really need to use it to lose much body fat? Maybe there's some unique cases where you could get away with using less than 3 weeks potentially, and then up to 6, because if you're going much more than like 6 weeks, I think you're just basically needed a normal cut. And because it is short, it's also aggressive. So if you're going more than 6 weeks aggressively, I don't think that's a recipe for success. And so that's the next point. It's short in terms of length, and it's also aggressive. So we're looking for, on average, for most individuals, looking about to lose 1% of your body weight per week, which is quite an aggressive calorie deficit for most individuals. So that's kind of what the two main principles of a mini cut are. It's short and also aggressive. So something I also consume is, I've been actually having some, what they called strawberry laces filled with like a cream filling, but instead I'm gonna have 4 of these fizzy fish, which is like, how many carbs? 23 grams of carbs. Like I said, my appetite in the morning isn't great, but I want to get in some more carbohydrates before I train, so this is a nice way. 4 of these. And then also during my workout, I'm going to have a scoop of EAAs from CMP, Coca-Cola flavor here, which is cherry cola actually flavor, which is pretty nice too. So I've just got back from training legs, and we're gonna have our post-workout. The food, it's just me eating it. So what that will look like is probably protein shake. I'm hopefully gonna use the blender for this one. My appetite picks up a little bit at this point of the day, so I can add some ice, maybe some frozen fruit to that to make it a bit thicker and a bit more filling. And that's really the crux of it. I normally just have a big smoothie, and then maybe I have like some extra fruit or something in this meal, but I'll show you what I have. Cheers. So that's lotus biscuit peptide from CMP, ice cubes and a banana, and also 10 grams of cocoa powder. So I wanted to go over here just talking about kind of why you might want a mini cut. So the prime reason people generally would want to mini cut is because they want to extend the runway for their massing phase. What do I mean by extending a massing runway? So in general, there is a percentage of body fat that you want to be at during your off season that's productive and that the body feels good at and that you can train hard at. And when I say body fat percentage, men can think about 10 to 20%. Females can add like 8% to that figure. And then really we're not assessing that objectively. We're getting a subjective measure off photos because that's good enough. It's within a range that's good enough for us. That's a general range that most people can look to abide by. And basically that's because below that bottom end, you start seeing diet fatigue, things kick in, and you just can't train hard, your hormones aren't in a great place. Above that amount, you get into issues of general well-being, appetite, being able to train hard again, fitness might go down. You also potentially grow like more body fat cells, that you can't then lose, and you hold on to those, you might stretch your skin, just gets into potentially some unwanted health outcomes. So you kind of have this sweet spot in between these kind of upper and lower limits where you can train your hardest, feel good, and everything's running smoothly. So it might be that you're getting towards that upper end of that body fat where you just want to kind of come down so you can continue within this kind of sweet spot and continue along that runway. And so body fat could be one reason, but also appetite could be one reason. So you might not be there in terms of your body fat, but your appetite just might be completely pants. So I talked about this in an improvement season with Pascal. Basically, I was kind of getting to this point where I kind of pulled all the tricks out of the bag in terms of trying to keep my appetite up and try and keep food as easy to get in as possible, because you can imagine if you're eating all your kind of diet foods, if you're eating a lot, it suddenly becomes very hard. So you start including things like chocolate milk, fruit juices, kids cereals, sweets even, and you keep your fiber kind of at kind of a minimum but acceptable level. And obviously you want to keep your fruit and veg in there because that's important. So I was still getting that in, but maybe it was through like soups, purees, and also fruit juices, and obviously still getting plenty of fiber. I was sitting at least 40 grams of fiber most of the time, but 4,000 plus calories. And I just got to this point where it was just like, I went to eat my breakfast and I was feeling nauseous. It was like I'll start sweating, get an extreme kind of stress response from it. And my general well-being and how I felt was just not great. My productivity was down with work and I couldn't train as hard in the gym. I just started feeling just pretty pants, to be honest. So that's why this mini cut is coming for me, so I can continue to mass. So that is what you're trying to do afterwards, is go into a mass phase. It's not like it's setting up another cut. It's not like it's any other reason. Now, there could be specific other reasons you do them, but I don't think necessarily that's like the general approach to them. And they're not for everyone. They're really kind of a distinct thing for more advanced kind of dieters and lifters and physique competitors maybe. You certainly don't want it to be your first cut, because you need to have all your kind of ducks in a row, as it were, to make sure that you're getting the most out of it, because it's an aggressive deficit. We'll talk about where I am right now. I'm eating just under 2,500 calories. Like, that's my goal, but some days I've been under that because my appetite's just still not been there, which sounds ridiculous, but it's still not been there. And then that's my maintenance was around 3,700. So I took off over 1,000 calories from the get-go, because I'm looking to lose like 1% of body weight per week, potentially even higher than that. And so far in that first week, I peaked at like 195 pounds. I'm coming down and I've already seen a low, I think today, 188 pounds. So I've already lost like 7 pounds during like the first 2 weeks. And I'll probably run this for 3 weeks, but we'll have to see. Anyway, I'm gonna enjoy my post-workout chocolate shaky lotus biscuity kind of thing. And I'll catch you in the next meal. So I'm pretty hungry. It's like 3:30 now, so it's been like 3.5 hours since my last meal. And I normally have this meal around 4ish and normally push it back a little bit, but I had my other meal a bit sooner than usual. And I typically, this is obviously meal 3 now that you're seeing, I typically spread my meals anywhere from 3 to 5 hours between one another. So yeah, what I already prepared earlier is down here. So it's in the freezer right now because I like it cool, and that's some, I think it's actually still fairly warm probably in there. That's just some protein oats, obviously oats, and I make it protein oats by actually I just use 20 grams of CMP's protein powder, plant protein powder. And the reason for that is I like to get into plant-based eating a little bit more. I am struggling. I've kind of got to a point where I'm like, right, this is about as far as I'm comfortable at the moment. I eat mostly vegetarian, as actually you'll see today, and I've actually had a lot of protein powder and just dairy today. But I complement this meal by having also some egg whites, because yeah, I don't want to just get all of my protein from protein powders and things like this. So I'm going to have just some egg whites here. So this is actually my favorite brand of egg whites. I've had different brands, but these ones from Amazon, liquid egg whites from Uncle Jack. So I'm gonna have 200 grams of this, and I'm gonna have that with just some low sugar salt ketchup. And actually, before I ate this, I actually had a carrot, just a raw carrot, so I just ate that. And a bar that's like a naked bar, if you've had those, where they're like these dried fruit, like dates normally mostly, with some nuts, and it's just like in this little bar, but it's like Aldi's version. So I just had one of those, which, yeah, I think they're actually pretty decent. You get some nuts, you get some fruits, it's like a little snack bar. I use those all the time, it's just like a way to have a snack, but yeah, I was just getting a bit peckish, and so I was like, right, let's get some of that in. And yeah, dinner is still up in the cards because on Fridays, which is today, which I'm recording this, me and Charlotte normally go and have a takeaway, which rotates between her picking and me picking. Last week, I was mini cutting, we had a takeaway. I picked Wagamama because I know I can have a chicken ramen for like 500 calories, which is perfect. This week is her choice, and I'm like, I don't know many places that have diet-friendly foods. So I'm like, you can go get a takeaway and I'll just have whatever at home. But she quite likes doing it together. So at the moment, I don't know what we're having for dinner. It may end up being Wagamama again, or I may end up having some other thing. So it is now almost 8 actually, so it's been actually quite a while since I've last eaten, which makes sense because I'm actually getting hungry. I've actually been enjoying feeling a little bit hungry, but it could get to the point of a little bit of hunger. But anyway, so I'm sitting down to basically a pre-dinner sort of eats, I guess, because me and Charlotte, say hello.
Hello.
What have we decided to get?
McDonald's.
Say it a bit louder.
McDonald's.
Be proud of the McDonald's that we're ordering. So I don't think we normally would go for McDonald's. Charlotte would probably get it from more of a bougie sort of vegan place to get some burger and chips, since we've never done McDonald's before. But they're handy for me at the moment because they have their calories on the menu, and I think it's pretty legit looking through it. And the McPlant, which is what I'm getting, which I'll show you, is going to be less than 500 calories. And actually, I hadn't eaten that much earlier today, so I had over 1,000. I think I had 1,000 or so calories to play with this evening. But obviously, I don't want to have just. I probably could have burger and chips, and it wouldn't kind of leave me too hungry. But I prefer to not have too much of that anyway. So anyway, I'll show you what I'm having down here. So I have cauliflower, I have courgette here, and then I have under here, which you might think looks like chicken, but it's not chicken. It's actually soy meat, they call it. And actually I really like it. It's from Iceland. It's just quite high in fiber, and so I haven't had a really fibrous day today, so I can kind of get away with it. But normally if I have too much of that, my fiber goes really high. And then I've just got 3 corn cakes here as well. So I have this, then I have a Fanta Zero with me here as well, and I'll show you the McPlant as it comes. Obviously I have salt in here, and actually I might add some of this on it as well, which is great for a bit of additional flavour.
I'm so pumped. I'm just excited to see Paige and get outside this villa.
I'm so excited. Final date. This is me not playing a fool now.
And that concludes the full day of eating of the mini cut. I don't know if I really talked about it earlier, but I already feel so much better in myself for mini cutting. And I can already see it in my physique too, but my general day-to-day well-being, my ability to concentrate, work. Like I said, I'm happy being hungry and enjoying like having a bit of food now. I wouldn't say my appetite is still amazing. Like you've seen today, it's not like I'm kind of going for really high volume and kind of very low calorie foods all the time. Like I'm quite happy like not needing to do that just yet. So I'm kind of hoping my appetite picks up. I'll definitely be mini cutting for 3 weeks, I think at least. And then we'll see where I am at the end of that. And I'm hoping I can get out of it after 3 weeks because I don't really want to extend it any longer than it needs to be. And that is part of the mini cut. You want to get in and out as quick as possible. One thing I did want to say is if you want to learn more about mini cuts, we have a mini cut presentation available to purchase, or if you're part of the members site or you want to join the members site, you can get access to it on there as well, where I do a whole presentation covering it. So if you do want to check that out, please do. Otherwise guys, thank you for tuning in as always. I'll catch you on the next one.